Hello friends. So in the previous video we have seen like how to complete the day one first assignment. So we will see the second assignment now. So this is the link for the second assignment. So this you can find in your email as well. So I will click on this and this is like day 1B agentic agent architectures. So we are here. So we will do the same thing as we have done previously. Like first we have to copy and then edit. So let's click on copy and edit. If you read all this instruction, you will find the same. So let's click on copy and edit. Once I have done this, this will create a copy of this. So in the previous session, we saw that first of all, the API key was not added, and that is the reason it gave us one error. So let's see if secrets has been added or not. So I will click on add-ons and then the secrets. So it's done, and then clicking on Google API key. This is done. This part, let me close here. And then let's see what is in the 1B part. So first part was like a very simple how to create an agent and UI interface part. We have seen it was not that much in detail. So now you have to go through all these readings. You have already done that white paper. So let's see here the setup part. So setup part, as I explained in the previous one, it is same like this part is just when we are doing this outside of this notebook. So this we can ignore here. This part we already tested in the previous one. This is same like if you have added a secret using a key like Google API key, you have to click on this and then you will get a message here like Gemini API key setup complete. As I said in the previous session, that when we run for the first time, it might take some time. So let's wait and see. And this first three part is like similar. Here we are importing all the required agents. So now this is succeeded. Gemini API key setup complete. The second part is like initializing all this and importing this from Google ADK agent. We are getting like agent, sequential agent, parallel agent, loop agent. So these all are like different agent. We will understand this in detail. In some time, and then we are getting Gemini in memory runner. We tried to use this in the previous assignment also to run this, and then we have imported like agent tool, functional tool, and the Google search here. So we are using all this tool to get the output. So first part is like importing all of them so that they are available. So I will click on this. Once this gets imported, we will get a message like ADK component imported successfully. That is why we have used this print statement. And then this is like a retry configuration. If something goes wrong, like how many time maximum it should try rather than running in a loop. So all those things is defined as a parameter. So slowly we will understand all those things. So this is defined like a retry configuration. So we will see in next part that we are passing this configuration also every time we run a prompt and try to get some answer. So this is really taking a little longer. But we can't do much here. Let's wait and then let it run. I will scroll down. Oh, we see now it's done. ADK component imported successfully. And next part is like try configuration. I will just click on this. So this is done. Now coming here, like why multi-agent system plus your first multi-agent system. So you will see like why we have to get a multi-agent system, and we'll also try to build our own multi-agent system. So suppose we want to do a task, and a task requires multiple steps, and if one step gets completed, then the second start, then the third start, then it will take a lot of waiting time. Like a single monolithic agent that try to do a research, writing, editing, and fact checking all at once becomes a problem. Its instruction prompt gets long and confusing. So what if we get multiple agents to do a task? There could be a constraint if like a dependent task, if there is no dependency, all those things comes will come in the picture. But let's see like uh, if there is a task where we can split it and ask the multi different agent to do different tasks, then it will be quite easy for us. So here there is example they have given like multi-agent team. One is like root coordinator who will coordinate the things. Then one is like research specialist and the summary specialist. They got the different task and there is shared state, and definitely root coordinator will do all those things. So this is a one of the example here. The research agent search for the information using Google search. So here tool is like Google search is being used to search the information, and the agent is research agent. We have one more agent here like summarizer agent. It summarizes the data which we basically find from the Google in this step. So what is done here? You see, one first part is like this is the coding part. A research agent, its job is to use the Google search tool and present the finding. Here, this agent simply does one task, do a research and share the finding here. So slowly we will understand this format remains completely same like research agent is given, and then we have given some name research agent and model is defined. We have done this previously also, and the instructions are very important here. So instructions is like you are a specialized research agent. Your only job is to use the Google search tool to find 2-3 pieces of relevant information on the Google topic and present the finding with the then the tools and the Google search. So this part, if you see, so this is the research agent part. Let's run this. I will click on run part. And then when I clicked research agent created message I got here. So this is the part, basically the name, model, instruction, tools, which tools we'll be using, and the output key. So whatever the output we get, that gets stored in this key. This is even written here. So as it was mentioned in today's session, like you can see this that the result of the agent will be stored in the session state with this key. So when you are doing the practice, don't skip the comments because this is the learning phase. We have to understand why something is done here, and the comments are very useful. Now the next part, summarizer agent. So in this part, research agent has done the research part. Now the summarizer agent, its job is to summarize the text it receives. So whatever we receives in research from the research agent, that is stored in research finding. So see this function, summarizer agent, again agent has been defined, name of the agent, model, and then the instruction, which is important part. So instruction says read the provided research finding. This part is important, research finding. So this research finding within the parenthesis says that this is the research finding you have, we are mentioning here, quoting here. And then it says create a concise summary as a bulleted list with 3 to 5 key points. So whatever result we got here, that is being passed in this agent, and this agent does this task of summarizing this. So now see there are two different agents. Now let's run this part. So I have done, and then summarize agent has been created. So two agents are created. They are kept side by side here. Now you see the next part, root coordinator. Here the root coordinator, what they will do is like they will follow the workflow by calling the sub agents as a tool. So this agent, this is also agent, but we are calling here research agent and summarizer agent as a sub agent. So now you see that agent has been defined. We have called like research coordinator. Then the same way we have defined the model, and the instruction is given here. Like what you have to do. Like you are a research coordinator. Your goal is to answer the user's query, and then you have been given like first you must call the research agent. So first part you must have to call the research agent tool, find the relevant information on the topic. Then next, after receiving the research finding, you must call the summarize. So this is in a sequence. So it is saying that first you have to do this, then you have to summarize, and finally present the final summary clearly to the user for your response. So let's run this. If it is initialize correctly, we got a message root isn't created. The next part is running this. So now we are running in memory. We have already imported and then saying the agent, which agent? Root agent is defined here. And then we are saying this run the root agent, and root agent already got idea about your research agent and the summarize agent. It is passed in the tools here. So this will use both the tools. So finally, when we are calling root agent, which is internally has the tools like those two, research agent and the summarize tools. And what questions we are asking, like what are the latest advancement in the quantum computing and what do they mean for AI? So let's run and see how this works. So when we have executed this, running this part, it is trying to reach and fetch this information. You might get some warning, ignore this. So you see here, the question is here, quantum computing is rapidly advancing, offering transformative potential and blah blah. So we got the answer from there. So this is how it works. So what we have seen here is that there are two agents we have defined, and all those two agents are trying to follow some sequence. We mentioned here that first what should be done and after that what needs to be done. Now coming to the section 3, sequential workflow, the assembly line. Here it says that in some time, even if you say that you have to do this first and then you have to do that, the system can ignore this and it will not follow the line. It might happen when you when you need a task to happen in guaranteed a specific order, you can use a sequential agent. Earlier we have not used that, the sequential agent, and in that situation it might be possible that LLM can skip the flow. So here, if you say, it says a complex LLM might decide to skip a step. So even if you say that first you do this part and then you do that part, it might be ignored sometimes. So it's better to use the sequential agent. So now let's try to understand that part in this example. Here it says like blog post creation with the sequential agent. So now here, if you see what we have to understand, like outline agent creates a blog outline for a given topic, then writer agent writes a blog post, and editor agent edits a blog post draft for clarity and the structures. So we are talking about three different agents here. One is like creating the blog, second one is writing the blog, and third one is like proofreading kind of things. So first part here, outline agent create the initial blog post for outline. So when we want to create a initial post or a draft version, you say this is what it is done here. So we have defined one agent, we have given some name here and the instruction. So your instruction are very important, like create a blog outline for a given topic. So whatever topic you got, you create a like outline for that maybe, and this are like point a catchy headline, introduction hook, 3 to 5 section with some bullet point and like a thought of that. And whatever you do, that you have to store in this blog outline. This variable will be used in different places, so the output is stored here. Now let's run this. So once we run this, if everything works fine, we will get a message outline isn't created. Sorry, it's not executed. Now outline agent is created. Next part was like writing agent. So whatever we got here, only that has to be drafted. What will happen if we are not using sequential agent and by somehow this outline agent is skipped, then this agent will not have anything to process. So this is important, that if a sequence is matter, we use the sequential agent. So this part like agent, writer agent. So writer agent here, what instruction we are giving? Follow this outline strictly, blog outline. So blog outline is here. So we have to follow the blog outline, and then we are saying write a brief 200 to 300 words blog post with an engaging and informative tone. So tone is also we are setting, and then the machine does everything for us, and then we are saying to save this outcome in block draft. So let's run this. So writer isn't also created. Right now we have not done anything. This is the part of agent creation. Now the editor isn't. Editor isn't what they will do. They will edit the draft version, proofreading kind of work. So here also we are defining the agent, defining the model, and then the instruction part. We are saying edit this draft. So two agent has done their work. If we will consider the real-time example when we run this, so this will create the outline, this will like edit this, and this part will do the editor will do the proofreading. It says that your task is to polish the text by fixing any grammatical error. You can have your own word, your task. So this instruction has to be very clear, improving the flow and sentence structure and enhancing overall clarity. And whatever finally comes, you have to save that in a final block. So let's run this. When we do this, and whatever if it gets executed correctly, again we will see the output here. Editor isn't created. Now what? So defining the main agent who will use all these agents in. So here if you see root agent equal to sequential agent. This is different than the previous example. If you come in the previous example, here also we have defined one agent, root agent, and that is just agent, not the sequential agent. And now we are using sequential agent, and this is the name we are giving, and sub agents are outliner agent, writer agent, and the editor agent. And then we are saying that printing the statement just to check like sequential agent created. So let's run this. So now sequential isn't also created, and then we are going to run and validate our output. So here runner is defined in memory runner agent. Which agent? This root agent, and this root agent has all the information, and we are passing some question here. Write a blog post about the benefit or multi-agent system for software developers. Let's run this and see the output. So it is running, it is writing, and it is like how we have said, like create some paragraph with some bullet point. So if you see, like it has been created. So headline, introduction, hook, main section two, then concluding thought. Then this all is written, and this is how this task is done. So by doing this, we understand about the sequential isn't here, and we also already saw that why we need the multi-agent system, so that we can do multiple tasks. We are not dependent on same agent to do everything. That will take a lot of time. So we need multiple agent, and when required we have to use the sequential agent also, like this kind of example. So what's next? So next is like parallel workflow, independent researcher. So here we saw that we need the sequence, but what if we don't need a sequence? In that case, what we have to do? So there could be a task where one task is independent from other, but at the end we need all the information. In that kind of situation, we don't need the sequential, we need the parallel workflow, so that when one task is done, another agent is doing the another task, another agent is doing the another task. So here in this example, we see that if you want some like research work on the technical research and the health and the finance, we want to create some kind of news or something like that, and in three different topics. So here there could be three different agent, like tech researcher, health researcher, and finance researcher. They can do their research part parallelly, and there could be aggregator one who will get all this information and combine and process and provide the result for us. So here you see, so there are four part defined here: tech researcher, research AI ML for the news trend, then health for medical, finance for the finance related news, and aggregator is like who will combine and process and give the single summary for all of them. So here in this case, we have defined here take researcher. I'm not going in reading all those things. Once you start doing, I will say you go one by one and understand all this very clearly written here. So here the tech researcher is defined and the instruction is given what they have to do. They have to do like research the latest AI and ML trends, three key developments they have to find, and we are saying the tool is Google search. From where you have to get the information from the Google search and store the data in the tech research. So let's run this so that this is created. So now the tech research is created. Same way we have defined the parameter in the health researcher. Let's initialize this and the health researcher also got created, and the same way we will be doing for the finance researcher, though this part when we create this is also done. So by doing this, the three agents is created. Now the three agents are available for us to use. Now the we are talking about the aggregator agent. Aggregator agent, what they will do, it will get the information from everywhere. So aggregator agent name we have given and the instruction we are giving. Combine the three research finding into the single executive summary. So here you can see like this. I told you like if we write like parenthesis and then the keyword, it refers to the previous output what we are getting in different steps. So in tech researcher is storing in tech research, then the health research and the finance research. So this is this part. So don't confuse with the normal instruction and some output value which we are referring from the previous agent, which we are expecting from the previous agent. And then we are saying that your summary should highlight common themes, pricing connection, and most important key takeaway from all the three inputs. So this agent has a task to combine all of them and write on a common theme, some pricing connection, and whatever you write, it will try to do. And output needs to be stored in the executive summary here. So let's define this one. So once I click on this, now the aggregator agent also got created. So here there are four agents we have defined here. Now come to the parallel agent. This is what we are saying. So first define, here we are using the parallel agent. Like I have shown you that first we use just agent, then the sequential agent, and now we are using the parallel agent. So in the parallel agent we are passing tech researcher, health researcher, and the finance researcher. So it is clear that you can use all of them parallelly, and there is a root agent now which is like a sequential agent. So sequential agent is like here we are giving the agent like parallel research team. So this is the parallel research team and the aggregator. So when we call this root agent, then here we are passing this parallel research team and the aggregator agent. So this agent can only work if this has two different agent. One is parallel research which can get the information combined, and then the aggregator who has this kind of work like combining and like writing the way we have given the instruction. So let's define this as well. So once it is done, parallel and sequential agents are created. Now it is time to run. So here we are running in memory runner agent. We are calling root agent. Root agent is defined here, which is already created. Root agent is part of having two sub agents. One is like parallel research team and aggregator team. Parallel research team will give three different output and aggregator will try to work on that. So let's see. Let's run this and see the output. So here created news debug session ID, run the daily executive briefing on tech, health, and finance. So health researcher did this part like technology, health. We cannot differentiate here. Sorry. So we got a combined result here. Like these are the output from different technology, health and finance, then key development, then main companies involved recently, and the potential impact. So this is how it is done. So what we have learned here, we have learned how why we need the multi-agent, when we need the multi-agent, when to use sequential, when to use parallel kind of scenario we have seen here. Now the next part is like loop workflow. So loop workflow is like till now what we have seen, like we are passing one query and then we are getting response on that. But what if you are not happy with the output? Then the agent has to rework on that. And in this kind of scenario, you have to use the loop workflow. In this loop workflow, the agent can repeat the task if the first output is not satisfactory. So here again, the writer agent and the critic agent. So writer agent writes the short story and critic agent review and the short story of the suggestion improvement. So critic agent review this, criticize this, and whatever the output come based on that, writer agent has to rework on that. So now next part is like here, understand this one. This agent run once at the beginning to create the first draft. So let's run this. uh, the instruction is given here, so you just read through all of this. So I will click on this. So this is like initial writer isn't created. Next part is like uh, this isn't only job is to provide feedback or the approval signal. It has no tools, so it just provide the feedback. So we are getting current story as output, and then we are passing here, and you are saying that you are a constructive story critic, review the story provided below. So it has to review and it have to say if the story is well written, complete, you must respond with a exact approved, otherwise provide 2 to 3 a specific actionable suggestion for the improvement. And then this is the part. So let's run this. So this isn't also created. Now the loop part here. This is the function that the refiner agent will call to exit the loop. So if the criteria matched, we got the desired output, then we have to exit the loop. So that is defined here, definition exit loop. Call this function only when the critic is approved, indicating the story is finished and no more changes are needed. So then it will exit here and return a status approved, message story approved, exiting refinement loop. So let's click on this, and then exit loop function also got created. So this is the function which we have created. Now let's see this part. Here the agent refine the story based on the critic or calls the exit loop function. So here we have defined this agent, then we are passing a story draft, we are passing critic, and then we are asking what they have to do, and output will be like here in the current story. And tools what we are giving, function tool we have defined here, which is name as exit loop. The tool is now correctly initialized with the function reference. So we are passing this tool. So this all instruction needs to be followed, and in order to follow this, it can use the function tool. So let's click on this. So refiner agent also got created. Now this part. So we have to define the agent here. So first is story refinement agent. So we are calling a loop agent. And here we are saying there are two parts, sub agents and critic agent and the refiner agent. So loop agent. So this is the important thing. So we have we have seen like agent, sequential, parallel, now the loop agent. And in the loop agent we are passing two things, critic agent and the refiner agent, and max iteration we are calling two, that to prevent the infinite loop. So this we can define based on our need. And then we have another agent, that is the sequential agent, the story pipeline, and then the initial writer agent and a story refinement agent. So this is another two parts. So initial writer will write and the story refinement will be done here. So this we have defined here. Initial writer agent, critic agent we have done, and then that is what we are passing here. Initial writer agent and a story refinement agent is here. Now let's click on run. So this is done. And after that, we are calling our root agent. Let's see the output. So we have clicked, it is running. Now it is running in the loop, and if it says approved, then it will exit. So this is how we can use the loop agent. So here we have used the loop. If it is not satisfactory, then as per our instruction, the system can rerun and get the response. So this is how it works. And then by doing this, this is just how to choose. In the summary they have described, this is for you to go and read through. We already saw that if a task is dependent on another and then output is required for the next, in this case it is important to use this sequential agent. If we are not using sequential agent and just the agent, then it might possible that LLM can skip at times, so that could be problematic. So in that situation, use the sequential. If you can do the concurrent task in any specific scenario and all the results needs to combine and do some kind of manipulation, then you can use like a parallel agent. And then you have to do the loop agent when you have to work on the output, improve it, that kind of option you are giving. And then dynamic decision, which we have not done right now, that is just leave that to the LLM. So by doing this, we have completed our day one part B of the assignment. And once you are done, I forget to mention in the first part that once you are done with all these things, you can save your version. Click on save. By doing save and run all commit, just click on quick save. This is done and save. So once you do this, it will be saved. And little bit information about this Kaggle. So in the right hand side, whatever work you are doing, that is getting stored and saved, so that in future you can refer this. So that's all in this session. Thanks for watching. Hope you got little bit idea. This is just the beginning. If you like the session, then please like this video and subscribe. Thank you. Thanks for your time.